So two things before I start this teardown of the KGR. The first thing is Doug Cunnington. He's the guy who came up with the KGR. And I just want to say at the start, I don't have anything wrong with Doug Cunnington. He's a nice guy. I like watching his interviews, and I would encourage you to listen to his interviews as well. So I'll leave a link to his YouTube video in the description below. I haven't got a problem with him. The second thing is Sean Mars has also recently done a KGR video. And I've been sending people to his video when people have been asking me what my opinion of the KGR is. But I get this question so much, so I thought, I'll put my opinion out there and I can send people to my video as well. I also think that this video complements Sean's one and builds on it with some other ideas as well. So they're good to go together. So if you want to watch Sean's video about the KGR, it's in the link below as well. And while you're at it, do yourself a favor and just binge all of his content because he's got awesome content on his channel. So let's get started with a discussion about my opinion of the KGR. So the KGR is a method of research called the keyword golden ratio. And it's a keyword research method that a lot of beginners use because it's very accessible, it's free, and it's one of the few ones out there that many people are talking about on the internet and on YouTube. So this is how it works. Essentially, you're supposed to find keywords with under 250 searches per month. And then you conduct an all-in-title search on Google. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. And then you calculate the all-in-title divided by the monthly search volume. And then if that calculation has a ratio of 0.25 or less, it means supposedly that the keyword is low competition. Now, I'll talk to you about why I disagree with that claim in a second, but let's have a look at just an example of how to do the KGR. So we're looking at the keyword here, best bags for sightseeing. This keyword has search volume of 140 per month, according to Keywords Everywhere, which is the keyword search tool that Doug has recommended to people as well. And it's the keyword tool that I use. And then the step 2 in this process, after you've found out it's got 140 searches per month, is do an all-in-title search, and you can see how it's done there. Just do that all-in-title search on Google, and that'll eliminate all of the results on Google to only results that have all of those words in the title. And then once you've done that, so you can see here that there's 8 results underneath once I do that search. So it's 8 divided by 140. The answer is 0.05. That's less than 0.25. Therefore, supposedly, it is low competition. So here are my critiques of why this is not a very good keyword research strategy. The first thing, which is not the main thing, but it is one thing that's worth saying, is that it requires you to only find keywords with under 250 searches per month. There are low competition, high search volume keywords as well. And in fact, that's where you might make a lot of your money. So by choosing to only do low competition searches, you're missing out on a lot of really good high volume, low competition keywords that could make you a lot of money. Now, as I said, that's not the most egregious part of the KGR. So let's look at some worse bits. The next one is something that happened to me when I first started out and I wanted to do some keyword research. I found the KGR, I thought, oh, this is great. I'll give it a go. And then I realized that I was doing a lot of nitpicking around words. So for example, and these may not be KGR compliant, this is just to show you what I mean. Best BBQ gloves versus best barbecue gloves. And I'd be trying to find keywords with some volume anywhere between 10 and 250. And I'd be, doing different variations of words. In reality, Google knows that BBQ and barbecue are the same thing. So it encourages people to waste their time on all these little fiddling around with words. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's BBQ or barbecue, but following this method, it encourages people to do a whole lot of picking around at those sorts of things. The next one is it fails to factor in search intent. So I sort of alluded to it just then, but here we've got all-in-title for these two different phrases. Again, they may not be KGR compliant. This is just as an example. One is best strategy board games for children, and one is best strategy board games for kids. The all-in-title for best strategy board games for children gives 3 results. The best strategy board games for kids gives 412 results. So one of them might be KGR compliant and one might not be. I'm not saying that these ones specifically are, but I'm giving you an example of how that semantic nitpicking is built into the KGR. And in reality, if we search best board game strategy board games for children, the results are all coming up with best board games for kids, best board games for kids and families, best board games we love for kids. Google knows that children means kids. So you're trying to be too smart for Google. Google is smart enough to know that kids and children mean the same thing. So, I mean, it makes the KGR redundant. Here's another example. Best BBQ gloves versus best barbecue gloves. If we type in best BBQ gloves, the featured snippet is the best BBQ gloves for grilling in 2020 by Business Insider. And then if you type in best barbecue gloves, the snippet is the best barbecue gloves for grilling in 2020 by Business Insider. It's the exact same article because Google knows that it's the exact same search intent. So the KGR doesn't consider search intent in its keyword research method, which makes it, again, a redundant keyword research method. It's a failure. It doesn't work. Next one, it fails to account for competition quality. So here's one where I did best conditioner for children. Again, I'm not saying that this is KGR compliant. I'm just giving you examples. Its volume is 20 per month, and it's come up with 5 results. So it is KGR compliant. It'll be 0.25 after the calculation. But look at the 5 results. There are 2 from Pinterest, 1 from Pinterest Canada, and 1 from Pinterest UK. There are 2 from an article named Mumsnet, and there's 1 from some website that it's not even in English. You're not going to be competing against any of these articles if you wrote an article about best conditioner for children. I mean, for starters, Mumsnet, you may compete against Mumsnet actually, but you're not going to compete against both of those results for Mumsnet because Google only lets a domain onto the front page of the SERPs once. And then Pinterest Canada and Pinterest UK, I mean, the chances that you're going to want to be competing against them, you can outrank Pinterest super easily. And you're not going to compete against this one that's a foreign language either. What you're actually going to be competing against is if you do a natural SERP instead of one of these fake Allintitle searches, you're competing against naturallycurly.com with a DA of 77 and businessinsider.com with a DA of 94. Now, I would say to you, good luck competing against Business Insider. But according to the KGR, I mean, apparently that's KGR compliant. So the question that I've got a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of people think, or even they've already typed in the comments below, oh, it works for me, it works for me, it's made me so much money. I'll show you why you think it works for you. The only value that people get out of the KGR is it forces them to search the long tail. Because the very first step of the KGR, before you do any competition analysis, is to find keywords with search volume of less than 250. When you do search volume of less than 250, you're usually searching for long tail keywords, which, you know, by definition, they're those keywords that have got not much search volume. And that usually correlates with low competition. So my hypothesis would be, if someone did 100 articles that were all KGR compliant, and someone else did 100 articles and all they did was found 100 articles with search volume under 250, those people would have the exact same amount of success. Because the only value you're getting out of the KGR is you're forcing yourself to write articles for the long tail. The competition analysis side of it, it's junk, it's pointless, it does nothing. The only valuable and valid keyword research methods are keywords research methods that actually look at the natural search. If you force Google to do a false search, one of these all-entitled searches, you're forcing Google to not be smart. You're forcing Google to not use its algorithm or its intuition or to know about search intent. You're forcing Google to do a Google search that was probably the sort of Google search that happened in 1995, not today. Google's too smart for the KGR. So what works better? First, you have to do a natural look at the SERPs. You can't make Google do a fake search. The minute you do a fake search, the whole competition analysis exercise goes out the window. It's pointless. Next, you need to examine competition quality over quantity. So for the KGR, you know, it wants you to find, how many different articles are ranking for this phrase. It doesn't matter how many articles are ranking. It matters how good quality are the articles that are ranking. If On the top 3, you've got Business Insider, The Spruce, and The Wirecutter. And they're the only 3 articles that are ranking on Google. Who cares? You're never going to outrank those 3. So what's the point? So quality always trumps quantity. And you need to look at the quality of the articles on the front page of Google. And then third thing, which as I said, it's not as important, but it is possible to find high volume keywords with low competition. And if you do the KGR, you're never going to find them because you're forcing yourself to only look at keywords with only 250 searches a month. So here's an example. Best bags for sightseeing, his volume was 170 per month at the time that I did this search. That is KGR compliant because 8 divided by 170 is far less than 0.25. So best bags for sightseeing, if we did a natural SERP analysis and we used the Mozbar, which is a free Chrome plugin, you will see here that the lowest domain authority domain on the SERPs is 55. So unless you have a really high domain authority website yourself, which I highly doubt it, people watching this video probably have domain authority domains of maybe 10, 20, maybe 30, but 55, that's a pretty high domain authority website. So good luck trying to compete against that. I mean, you may be able to compete against that, but you would have never have known if you were just doing the KGR method. You would have never have known the actual competition. So let's do another look at the natural SERPs. So we've gone back to the SERPs for this best travel bags for sightseeing. And you can see that the first one is travelfashionGirl.com. So my first thought for that is, well, that's probably actually just a blog, someone else's blog that has got a really high DA. So it's probably got a fair bit of authority, but it is just a blog. So maybe you can compete against them if you fired a whole lot of backlinks at it. I can also see that the page authority is only 35, while the domain authority is 55. So they've probably not thrown many links at it either, or at least the Mozbar hasn't picked up on those links. And the Mozbar is not perfect, I'll admit. I can also see that there's a Pinterest result there. You could probably outrank Pinterest. So there may be weakness in the SERPs. I'm not saying that this is an impossible one to find, but it's not as easy as the KGR is suggesting it is. And you would have never have known because you never actually would have done a natural SERP analysis. You would have done one of these hocus pocus Allintitle things that are just completely redundant and useless. So just to recap, a real keyword analysis methods, like the one that I've been using, which I admit has its flaws, but the one I've been teaching you, at least it does natural SERP analysis. It finds weak competitors on the front page, which is the most important step. Another thing that I always do, I avoid, if I've got the Spruce or Business Insider or Wirecutter, if they're owning those top 3 spots, I'm out. I'm not competing for them because I know that they're big players and they know how to rank for review content. So looking at the front page of the SERPs and seeing who you're actually going to be competing against is incredibly important. And then the next one, which is a little bit too advanced for this video, finding competitors with few tier 1 or 2 links pointing to their pages is also another important thing. I use SEMrush for that. I'll leave a link to SEMrush in the description below. It's not an affiliate link, but it may be in the future, so check. Every keyword research method has its flaws, and I admit that my keyword research method that I've been teaching you has some pretty serious flaws to it. But at least it does a natural analysis of the front page of the SERPs. The KGR does not do a natural analysis of the SERPs, so in my opinion, it is the worst, the most egregious keyword research method that you can do. It's junk. It is absolute trash. It is worse than useless. It's a complete waste of your time. So I would encourage you, please don't use the KGR to do your keyword research. Please don't pay someone ridiculous amounts of money to give you a KGR pack or whatever they are that you can find on Reddit. Do a real search analysis looking at the real natural SERPs that Google is dishing up for the keyword that you've used. So that's it. If you disagree with me, I know that people are going to. Feel free to leave, all the comments you want in the comments bar, but I'm just saying it how it is. And in my opinion, the KGR has got to go.